The Creators Collection is a new series that brings liquid storytelling to life, with rare aged whiskies curated to create the ultimate whisky flights. The Homecoming Collection is about returning back to where it all began. We asked Leith-based artist Shona Hardie to come up with 4 labels, inspired by our 40-year heritage. Here's the story.
I'm an artist. I'm from Edinburgh and I work at my studio in Leith. I do murals, so kind of like large-scale paintings. Because I live and work in Scotland, the mural season is quite short, so I also do kind of smaller paintings and smaller commissions kind of based in the studio as well. I actually worked in hospitality for about 15 years. I've had quite a lot of whisky training, and I don't know if I really appreciated all of it at the time. I've been to Islay a few times, and that's probably where I kind of found the style of whisky that I like to drink.
And what kind of whisky do you like to drink?
I like quite heavily peated things, quite smoky whisky, things that like pack a bit of a punch.
Excellent. Well, we're actually starting with 3.357. Home is where the hearth is, which is a lightly peated whiskey. So I think probably definitely your style of whiskey.
Yeah.
What does the word homecoming mean to you?
Because we're in Leith and I live in Leith, but I'm not originally from here, from the south of Edinburgh. And even when I kind of go away, I've lived abroad for a wee bit, or lived in different cities, I always come back to Leith. So that's probably kind of what homecoming really means to me. I feel really at home in this part of town, so it kind of probably ties into this area and this where the vaults are and stuff.
And are there any other words for this homecoming collection that inspired your creative process?
I think sort of like warm, cosy, nostalgia, working from that kind of cosy sort of feeling.
Cask number 3.357. Home is where the hearth is. This one here. How did the sense of building's history lead you to this design?
I came in one evening just by myself, sat with my sketchbook just over there actually, drew the fireplace, drew some people who sat around that fireplace. I kind of had a feeling of what it's like to be here, you know, when the members are kind of around and enjoying the setting. And then I wanted to tie it in with the building, and I think the entranceway outside is so cool and sort of quite iconic. So I want to tie the fire and the hearth with that building, and I thought the gates could become sort of like the actual fireplace surrounding, but I want to keep that warmth to it. So that one is probably, like, in terms of colour, they're like the most warm label, I guess, which hopefully makes sense.
Definitely, and I mean, I think the vaults, it is our spiritual home. So I can absolutely see that, this idea of homecoming, it really starts there.
Yeah, so you're literally like walking through the gates to like the warmth of the heart of the building. So yeah, that was kind of the plan.
Brilliant. So we're sitting at the bar here with cask number 38.43, Barroom Buzz. The thing I notice most on this label is the clinking of the glasses and the energy of this room. So how do you go about creating that energy in your artwork?
So the idea behind it was kind of creating a sort of a sense of a buzz, something going on in the room, that people are enjoying themselves, fun, friendship, and I think like what kind of like shows that better than a cheers or a slanjva. Clinking of glasses to me signifies, you know, friendship. So that, and then there's actually just kind of a repeat pattern in the background of that. It's kind of swapped around a bit, but hopefully that creates a kind of like a sense of movement and energy behind it. The sort of pinky red, which is a colour I absolutely adore, I kind of always try and find a way to like to get it in. The bar is like the heart of the vaults, so kind of having that connection as well. There's actually quite a lot of colours in that label, even though they're kind of faded down, so that kind of hopefully adds the idea of more going on in the room and yeah, a bit more energy.
And vibrancy as well. I think ultimately being a whiskey drinker, it's about sharing good drams, but it's about community as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you find inspiring about the society?
It's inspiring that it's obviously a place for that the members can all come and have something in common, learn new things, that sort of sense of community. And I know there's members from all over the place that they can find their space here or find their people and share a dram or make new friends over a dram or a bottle of whiskey.
And hopefully there'll be many members doing that over this bottle as well. We're here in the Snug, which inspired cask number 35.388, Snug and Toasty. This one was a lot about nostalgia. Tell us a bit about that.
I'd definitely say this was kind of one of the more collaborative ones in terms of working with what the society were after. There's sort of wood in the background, and then there's also got the wood barrel. I think they were really going for that sense of, like, I guess it kind of comes back to like fire and homecoming and kind of being like snug and toasty, and I think that's kind of like what we try to kind of portray. And then it's got a couple of bottles, a couple of glasses left. It looks like they've been half drunk, or the parties, you just missed the party, but you know that people have had a good time in here. Kind of the vibe that we were going for.
So almost, I guess, after barroom buzz, this is the next one.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit more chill, nightcap kind of vibes, I guess.
Nightcap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And this is definitely the space to have that nightcap.
Sure, yeah.
When you're working on something like this, how do you balance the relationship between whiskey and artwork? Does one balance the other?
I don't really know. I feel like definitely not drinking loads of whiskey whilst you're doing this.
Okay, responsible drinking. Yeah, definitely.
I think it helps, like I said before, kind of to come in and feel the space and be in the space, get the feeling of what's going on in the room. I think that definitely helps. I don't think you could create something like this having not been in the space, or not tried some of the whiskey, or not been inspired by some of the flavours, or talking to the staff or some of the members.
It definitely comes back to that capturing that sense of energy and what the energy is in each of the whiskies.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so.
Yeah, I guess a lot of that comes from the name as well.
Yeah, the name was definitely a starting point, and I think there's definitely a few routes that, I went down to sort of get to this point. But you know, it's all part of the creative process, I guess.
So we're here on the shore, very close to the vaults. And Leith has a lot to do with whisky history, doesn't it?
Yeah, so obviously we're next to the port, which a lot of historical value in terms of the spirits trade.
That influenced cask number 76.154 Reflections on the Shore, didn't it?
It did, yeah. So you see little elements of that in the design, but then also really just kind of the shoreline itself, and some of the bottles kind of represented as some of the buildings, because it's such a sort of iconic shot of the shore, I think.
Yeah, and Leith is pretty special to you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's where I live, it's where I work. My studio is just over there, so I spend quite a lot of time down here anyway, so I know it pretty well, I'd say.
And on a day like today, it's really beautiful as well.
It's cold, but it's beautiful, yeah.